Midnight. The world is quiet and time feels like it stands still. In the darkness, secrets are kept and mysteries unfold. This is where our story begins. The past is not only affecting the future is also affecting the past. This is like a paradox of the chicken and the egg. We can never say which one came first. Everything is connected. Tick-tack, tick-tack. Tannhaus was sitting in the small study room holding a pocket watch in his hand. The tired and reluctant small second hand of the watch, in every move it seemed that it was muttering a monotonous, fervent melody. As a gift of his old age, his hands covered with dry skin were as old as the pocket watch he grasped. The spots of old age that glowed speckled on his hand, and the marks of the corrosion of the watch seemed to have a confident and sincere relationship. Fitted within the golden frame, adorned with the carved Roman numerals on the white dial, the watch was a rare and precious example of distinguished handwork. The minutes the master spent making the watch are now beating inside the watch. Tannhaus spent years to bring together this watch. For the mechanism of the watch, he carefully chose every wheel and spring, which he placed meticulously in the places where they belonged. Although he was very young when he assembled the watch, he made a habit of wearing binocular glasses. As he got older, the binocular glasses were replaced by glasses with thick round lenses. But unlike the binoculars, he had to use these glasses in his daily life. The pocket watch was showing 5:08. 3 minutes, Tannhaus thought. He gave a deep breath. He closed his eyes tightly and opened them again, then took off his glasses, rubbed the places where they pressed on the nose root and raised the pin of the watch and turned it to the left. It was now showing 4:10. He took a deep breath again. The moment he said, "Come in," the door of the study room was knocked. When the door opened, a tall teenager in his mid-20s appeared at the doorway. "Gilbert, Tannhaus, how did you know that I was at the door?" The confusion of the teenager could be seen. Enlarged eyes, mouth open to laugh, enlarged nostrils. "Tannhaus, you said come in before I knocked the door." "Gilbert, well, Gilbert, years of experience. The only job I know, but the job that I know the best, is the watch." Tannhaus got up from the wooden desk and came next to Gilbert. Gently he put his hand on Gilbert's shoulder. "Tannhaus, don't you come to tell me every day at the same time, Tannhaus. I am leaving." "Gilbert, you are right, Tannhaus. I thought for a moment that you time-traveled. Sometimes you have such a strange behavior that you scare me." "Tannhaus." "You little brat," Tannhaus said, laughing. "Tannhaus, you may leave. I'll take care of the shop." After Gilbert got out of the shop, Tannhaus left his study room and walked slowly to the entrance door of the shop to turn up the open signboard hanging on the door. He knows very well that after this hour, no new customer would come. Finding out the synchronization of the watch in his pocket, tic-tacs, and the ticking sound that the signboard made by hitting the glass made Tannhaus smile. Tannhaus put a lot of effort into keeping the shop like the first day. The shop was actually quite large to be a watch shop. However, the glass windows made of carved wood, in which he put the clocks and watches, narrowed the shop considerably. Although the Gothic design and the dimly lit atmosphere of the shop made the customers feel depressed when they first entered, after a short while the customers get used to their surroundings and begin to love the shop. Customers who bought a watch or renewed the wristband of the watch come more often just to get a pinch of Tannhaus's conversation. Tannhaus returned to the study room at the back of the shop, scuffing his tired legs. The dark, wooden door of the study room was made of the same wood as the shop window cabinets. Like all of his belongings, Tannhaus had also specially designed the door and the frames of the door. He had told the master carpenter Andreas that he should make it in such a way that upon entering the shop people would not think like "I've seen this before." Although Master Andreas implied that it would be very difficult to do this at first because of his old friendship with Tannhaus, he accepted. He made furniture suitable for the drawings of Tannhaus from timber brought from a special oak tree grown in Estonia. Tannhaus, moving the thumb of his right hand over the TS relief on the closed lid of the pocket watch, walked up to the wooden desk. When he arrived at the table, he continued his calm journey with the support of his left hand. With the same calm attitude, he pulled his chair and sat down. He was aware now that life was exhausting him. All those lives he lived took some part of him. He shook his arms to relax his tired body, took a deep breath, and he took his pocket watch again into his hand. When he pressed the top button, The cover swung down and he saw that the clock was 5:10. Tannhaus, one last time. Although there was no one to hear him, it was like he was demanding. He raised the adjusting pin and took the clock backward 1 hour to 4:10. The door of the study room was knocked while he was closing the cover of the pocket watch. Tannhaus. "Come in, Gilbert," the old clockmaker master said aloud. Gilbert entered to the study room with a big smile on his face. "Gilbert! How did you guess that it was me? Tannhaus, who else can it be, Gilbert? Customers don't enter here," Tannhaus said, looking over to Gilbert and turned his eyes back to his thumb on the relief over the clock. "Gilbert, you are right. Anyway, I am leaving Tannhaus." "Tannhaus?" "Okay, son. Gilbert, do you need anything?" Tannhaus seemed to be trying to remember something. Then he said, "Tannhaus, no, thank you." "Gilbert, thank you, Tannhaus." "Tannhaus, oh, there is something." Gilbert returned to his master. "Gilbert, yes, Tannhaus." "Tannhaus, come, let me embrace you before you go." Tannhaus walked slowly, stood before Gilbert, put his hands next to the teenager's shoulders, examined his face briefly, then embraced him sincerely. On his master's move, Gilbert giggled and responded firmly to the embracing of Tannhaus. "Gilbert, I'm going home, old man, not somewhere else. We will meet again tomorrow." Tannhaus, "Yes, we'll meet again. Right." After slapping gently a few times Gilbert's back, he removed himself. "Gilbert, see you tomorrow. Tannhaus, until tomorrow, son." After Gilbert left, Tannhaus returned to his desk. He remembered his daughter, besides Gilbert. She was the only living family member he had. He needed to hear her voice one last time. He reached the old-fashioned phone placed on the right side of his desk, and he dialed her phone number by heart. After ringing several times, the phone was picked up. "Charlotte." "Yes, Tannhaus, honey, how are you?" Tannhaus had to take a deep breath to clean his throat. "Charlotte, father, is that you? Your voice is too hoarse." Tannhaus tried to cough to clean his voice. He swept the 2 drops of tears from his eyes. "Tannhaus, yes, it's me, Charlotte. Father, I'm very busy now. Can we talk later? I have to run to the office." Her voice sounded like she was in a hurry. Tannhaus, "Sure, Charlotte, talk to you later." "Charlotte, thank you, father, talk to you later." Tannhaus put back the handset and got up from his desk. He began to wander in his shop, teary-eyed. He looked at his watches, screwdriver sets and all parts waiting to turn to a watch, as if he was saying goodbye. He was gently touching all of them. He walked up to the shop door, rubbing his hands, ignoring the fingerprints he left on the display cabinets, which he did not even allow to be touched under normal conditions. After reversing the open signboard, he returned to his study room. A smile spread across his face as he caressed the melting clock on Salvador Dali's Persistence of Memory that was hung on the wall behind his desk. For a while he held his hand in the middle of the table, which was on the painting. Then he let his hand fall under the influence of gravity. He pulled out his chair to sit down, but then he changed his mind and went next to the gramophone on the right side of the desk. When he placed the needle at the point he predicted and operated the turntable, the study room was filled with the sound of a crying violin. Tannhaus succeeded in capturing Farid Farjad's song Darya Che Noor at almost the exact place where the song began. This song always reminded him of his daughter Charlotte, because Anruja Volume 1, which is now turning on the turntable, was a gift from his daughter when she was 9 years old. As the record continued to spin, the violin burned the lament that had been sent to prove the existence of heaven. Tannhaus sat back in his chair and glanced at his watch. He devoted a lifetime to this extraordinary watch and gave up so many things for this watch. Tannhaus has repeatedly experienced the claim that people watch their lives like a storyboard before death comes. Every time, as he approached his death, he watched hundreds of memories over and over and felt like he was really reliving each of them. Moreover, he made a journey not only to his memories but also to the past of hundreds of people, and he decided that he was tired by the effect of all these memories. His only regret was not to say properly goodbye to his daughter Charlotte. Tannhaus. "This is the end," he said to himself. With a deep pain stuck in his heart, he remained breathless. While loosening his tie with one hand, he pressed on his chest with the other hand, trying to regulate his breath, even though he knew that would not work. When the pain took over his entire body, he was no longer able to move any of his limbs. He collapsed into the chair of his unique desk. At that moment, the clock fell from the pocket of his vest, and the watch stopped at 5:11.